What an entrance.
I fucking hate that song.
You must be very...
If I hear it one more... I'm sorry for the swearing, children. I'm so sorry. I'll pay you later.
Every time someone has sweared today, someone says, it's okay, you're in Ireland, which is the best answer ever. You're in safe hands. Give it up one more time for Mark and Kim, Sons of Anarchy in the house. We are thrilled to have you guys here. How's it been going for you so far here in Belfast? I'll start with you, Mark.
How's
it been going in Belfast?
Belfast is delightful. Really. Never been here before. We had an amazing tour of all the battle scenes that took place around here.
The real battle scene.
Yeah, and it's quite fascinating. It's a lot of history here, obviously.
How's it been for you, Kim?
Yeah, I'm like, Boone and I are pretty much attached at the hip when we do these things. We don't sleep together, but we do pretty much everything else together. And we did take that black cab tour of, the troubles, and it's amazing. It's so sad and painful, really, but it's fucking amazing. And our cab, the guy who took us on the tour, Kieran, said that, and this is thanks to you guys, he said that these kinds of things, these kinds of Comic-Cons are exactly what the Brits and the Irish should be doing together. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with anything. It's people in love with a Comic-Con to meet some of the people, right? I mean, it's...
See, look what you do, man.
And hang on, Boone. And for Andy and Jason and James to bring my brother here and me all this way to meet all you guys, come on. If you don't have a good time at these things, don't get out of bed. It's been an amazing time.
It's such a fun time. Tell us about the fan interactions you've had here yesterday and today, because the Sons of Anarchy fans, not only do they cosplay a lot and dress up as you guys, but they're a very loyal bunch. Would you agree?
Well, this show seems to have a lot of people like it for a long time. And then it keeps collecting other people, new people all the time. So that's the way of the technology now, So nothing ever dies that was made if people like it, so.
You should have seen Boone and me last night in downtown Belfast. We couldn't go into a fucking pub. We were recognized. We couldn't walk down the street. And thank God I can walk faster than Boone, because he was always stuck 20 yards behind as I just kept running away from people. I mean, it was crazy. And then I guess, I don't know, you tell me if I'm wrong, you always do. We did film, even though we didn't film it here in Ireland, but that third season, right, Boone, was the Irish season, right? So I think everyone, it's a prerequisite. If you're from Belfast, you got to watch SOA.
We were just talking about wrestling back there, and I think similar to hanging out with wrestlers, you guys are such badasses. They're just so cool. That do you find the fans really just want to buy you a drink and just party with you? That says it all.
No, if you actually stop, Boone was actually seeing how long it would take before I'd start talking again. If you actually stop to take one fucking photo, you will be at that pub all night. So, no, we're pretty good with our fans, aren't we, Boone? Boone?
What?
Boone.
Yeah, that's what fans want to do. They want to have a drink and talk to you, and that's what, I like about, talking to people as people rather than talking to them as a fan. I don't know. That's the way I am.
Very cool.
So try that.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
All right.
And he will indeed, literally. Well, one more question for me, then we're going to go to my buddy Dave over here has a microphone. If you guys have a question, raise your hand. You can line up in the middle there. We'll just take a few questions from you guys as well. But just overall, Sons of Anarchy is obviously, it's a very cool show. It's badassery, it's motorcycle gangs. But what is it, do you think, that resonates with so many people, young and old, and obviously ranges all over the globe?
Oh, got it. Well, I've talked a lot about this over the years, but I think when this show started, I think the people who made it thought that this would be a guys' show, and because all of the guys in the show were actual men, as opposed to so many television shows where, for a long time, men have been sort of henpecked people who they're not really men. And, but also, it was a show where the women were fully unrepressed. And I've known a lot of women in my life. And not just as, lovers or whatever, just as people, right? And I have a way of being close to people when I get talking to them.
Yes, you do.
And just about every woman I have ever talked to in my life has felt like they are kind of oppressed in a certain way. Even if that's not true at all, they still feel that way. And this show, just the women were fully unleashed.
They had bigger balls than most of the men in the show.
And
Round of applause for that.
They really did.
Yes.
And I think there was a lot of drawing women into the show in that way.
Do you think that Charlie's naked bum had something to do with it occasionally?
Well, yeah, okay.
I know I enjoyed
There was
it.
Theo's bum, there was...
Yeah, a lot of my ass was in there, either bitten by a dog or shot or... And also, from what Boone said, which is so correct, I don't know if there's ever been a show like this, like ours, that both men and women could watch together and enjoy it together, and college kids and doctors, lawyers, cops. Honestly, in the USO tours that you and I have done, the troops around the world, the brotherhood in the show, right? It really resonated, And it was a fun 7 years for sure.
Round of applause because we enjoyed it so much. Very poignant thoughts on that, yeah. And that's why it's done so well, and you have so much love here in Belfast. And speaking of, we're going to go to Dave, who has a lovely lady with a question for you. Whoop. Microphone, please, in the audience. Whoop. We're just going to leave you in suspense for 1 second. There we go. Whoop. Yeah, building the tension, she says.
What?
We good? Oh, we're bringing you a replacement. Thank you. We've got one there. Thank you, Kim. Give it up for Kim. What a gentleman.
Well done.
Saving the day. Sorry about that.
Hello. Okay, cool. Right. So, me and Dave are going to pull a little prank here on my friend who has really bad social anxiety. But I'm just curious. Here's my question. She's wearing leather today.
Oh.
Come on, Kate.
Round of applause for her. Yes.
I don't know.
All leather.
She dresses like this on the reg. She's not cosplaying. But could she make the cut? What do you think?
100%.
Woo! Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I have no idea what the question was, but I did say 100%.
I'm a cracking for both of you. First, Mark, how do you feel about the ending of your character?
The end of my character?
Yeah.
The way it was put to me was somebody had to go. So, I had to go. I didn't have a choice about it. So, as we've seen, Kim and Tommy and DL have had a chance to continue their characters in the Mayans. I don't know if you know that,
Yeah.
but that's been released and everything. So, you know, they profited from that in many ways. So,
For me, though, if I can, when Bobby Elvis was told that he was going to go, we never knew how and why and when it was really going to happen. And to not be able to work with Boone in those 3 or 4 shows when he was captured and he was being tortured, you all saw the show, so I'm not giving anything away. It was fucking bullshit because we couldn't even fucking be with him. We couldn't. So those were real tears. When we would get sent that box of another body part, those were real freaking. It was actually kind of ripped our heart out. But that was the beginning of the end. And then there was everybody else, right? I mean, honestly, we lost Tara and Perlman the year before, but Bobby was the beginning of the boys near the end with the big characters going. So
well, and then of course, the episode immediately after Bobby's death, all of the main characters in the show got to make love to other people.
that was such bullshit.
No, Kim, that wasn't bullshit. That was absolutely magnificent.
Really?
Absolutely.
Truly?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Don't you think?
Did you guys think so? I thought it was too soon.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was too soon.
No.
I wouldn't mind waiting a few shows. Bobby's gone, and we're all making love. What?
Everybody.
Yeah?
Right next question for Kim.
Yeah.
After Sons of Anarchy, you were the bad blood.
Yeah.
What was it like going from a biker to a full like mob boss?
It's great. It's great. Great.
Cheers.
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 I love this matter-of-factness. It's so awesome.
Hi, massive Sons fan. What was your favorite thing to film?
To what?
Favorite thing
Film.
to film.
Favorite scene?
This should be good.
No, my favorite scene was a scene between me and Jax that we talked about last
Amazing.
night.
It was
Where we were discussing killing, whatever his name was, Clay. I don't know. I mean, it was a culmination of a lot of discussion and feelings and whatever. And we just went off book. You know what that means? We just improvised this whole, it just took off. And the whole crew was crying. And all of that
and
got
clapping. They really were clapping. At the end of the fucking scene, they all like fucking clap.
Were
And when,
they?
and when- yeah, and when the crew does that,
Yeah,
it's pretty.
I don't know. That,
I just saw the show again because I did a podcast with Theo Rossi called Reaper Reviews. So I, like Boone, I don't even know. How many of you watched Boone, do you think?
what?
Of Sons.
How many episodes?
Yeah.
I probably watched like 15, maybe.
Okay, 15. That's because we were so in it when we were doing it, and whether we agreed with the editing or didn't agree with the editing, our job was not to really watch the show. But for me, I'd only seen probably 30, a third of them, until Theo and I started reviewing. So it's very new to me, and it was 7 years later, 8 years later, here's me and Rossi doing the show, and to see all of them and actually see them and write about them, that scene that Boone is talking about, for me, to see it for the first, was fucking amazing. But then I said to Boone, and Boone went, no, Coetzee, you have no idea what we actually did and what they didn't put in that scene. They had to cut around it and cut and cut. But it's painful when that happens because, and Kurt, if Kurt Sutter was here, he'd agree with me. He wrote too much. We had to cut stuff all the time, and I kept saying to you and everybody who wanted to listen, why are we fucking writing so much when it's not going to be in the movie anyway? Do you remember that, Boone?
Well, I mean, actually, the show was supposed to be 44 minutes long. That's an hour of television.
And then commercials added with that, right? To make it an hour.
And we ended up, after the first season, FX allowed the show to run like 10, 15, then 20 minutes, 30 minutes over that hour. And we didn't get paid for that. So.
Thank you.
But that's the show that you got to watch, so you're the lucky ones.
Mine's quite a silly question, but I think it's still valid. Pints or cocktails?
Well, in terms
I
of
had them
Kim,
both last night.
You had he
In
started
copious
with a
amounts.
beer with a Guinness, then went to wine, then went to you had something else at the first bar, right?
No,
You had a
I
shot,
went whiskey,
You had a shot at the bar at the first
whiskey,
bar, right?
wine,
Yeah. No, you had a
whiskey,
Guinness too.
Zambuca, beer, wine, something else that I can't tell you. Oh my God, I'm so fucking hungover. I can't. I love Belfast. I've had a great time here. It's a fucking great town.
Thank you.
What is your drink of choice out of all of those? Whiskey, wine, what's your favorite?
Whiskey
my
or
favorite?
wine?
Drink.
Drink? I was a professional drinker for a number of years.
Yes, he was.
Very, very professional drinker. And, I kind of finished with that. So I don't,
He comes out of his cage, though, when I come to Boone's house. We drink.
Oh, that's true. He's
Right.
the only guy I drink with these days, like really drink with.
We have the greatest time. It's bourbon and a little bit of something else and bourbon. And I love his house and chickens. I shouldn't say, huh? I'll stop there. I love his fucking house.
Chickens and bourbon. Sounds like a memoir. We're going to go to this question here.
Hi guys, big fan of the show. My question is probably quite a popular one for both of you. What would be the most emotional death in the whole series that you and the rest of the cast members had to watch?
Well, for me, that's an easy one. Hey, Boone, my daughter Rachel Miner, who played Dawn, that was a fairly harrowing 2 nights of filming for me. I wouldn't want it any different. I love being stretched. That's why Boone's such a great actor. We love being stretched, and that fucking insanity with being chained like an animal, and Pope and me and my daughter, and Rachel was really down there. And come on. But it was amazing to do.
I think it was up there, your daughters with Opie's I Got This in the prison.
Well, everybody, that was so well choreographed. Opie's death. It was a very shocking one, and obviously a very effective death. But Kim's daughter that was insane. And of course, the most emotional one for me was me.
Yeah.
That's
That's fair.
Hi. I'm pretty sure everybody knows the scene with Jax at the end where he's got his arms open and the police behind him. And openly admit I cried like a little girl at that scene. But would you change anything personally about that scene and the ending, or were you happy with the ending of Jax and the entire series as an whole?
You want me?
Well, I never watched it, so
Yeah. I just watched it a month
I knew
ago.
that was going to happen, and blah 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 blah. That was just the way I see it. That was the way to end it. So I'm not, I'm a little on the.
I
don't really.
I just saw it, right? I just saw it a month ago with the podcast, and I was so happy, and I was fucking crying too. I mean, it's just very emotional. It's just emotional. But I'm such a fan of realism, and that show was part real and part soap opera. It really was, and there's nothing wrong with either. But I would have loved to have seen Jax going a little faster. I would have liked to have seen Jax making a split decision to just slam it at the very last second. I thought it was all drawn out, and that was on purpose. That's the way Kurt wanted it, you know. So,
Yeah, it seemed like he just should have run into a wall, like,
Yeah.
you know, instead. Like just really fast into a wall.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
great question.
Um,
Hi, yeah.
Hi. Were you like pissed off when Opie was killed? Like, how did you feel about it?
It's a very political question.
They know all about politics here, Boone. So if you want to
No,
expound on that,
just throwing it in there in exactly.
you know what? Honestly, sweetie, it was finally happening. Meaning, it was time for Sutter to start killing the leads. None of us thought it was going to be Opie. I thought he was the Horatio part of the Hamlet-esque. I thought he was the only one going to be alive at the end. I really did. I really, truly did. But as perfect Kurt Sutter's world does, he throws a wrench into everything. He switches everything around, and it was shocking. It was just very shocking.
We'll take these final 2 questions. Thank you.
Hi. I was just wondering, so, see, you 2 guys are like probably my favorite characters on the show, but it's quite a large cast, and I was wondering who was the worst for forgetting their lines for takes?
Well, that's easy. Tommy Flanagan.
Poor Tommy. No, poor Tommy. No, you guys got to understand something.
But he's also, for my money, the best actor in the show.
No doubt.
So, I mean,
No doubt.
he can forget his lines as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no doubt. This is the truth. The chapel scenes, when we went to church, the chapel, right? Some of the scenes were the best scenes written for this, because we were all together and we're talking about shit. Certainly the earlier stuff, I thought. Anyway, if there was a one line here, one line there, one line here, one line there, and if you, when it came around to you, and if you fucked it up, everyone went like this. Oh, boy. Oh. And so then they go, cut. Okay, we'll do it again. and it's happened to me a million times. Tommy, maybe the most, I don't know. But when it came around, then you really couldn't say it. And we ended up doing certain scenes where everyone had to be removed and just did your one line and they threw it in later, because we would be laughing our heads off, certainly early in that show. So.
Hello. My question is basically for Kim. Whenever you got the script, were you ever worried you were going to get killed off with everything that was going on and the way Jax was so hard to read at times? Were you ever worried for yourself?
I just think people got to get over you killed Donna. Get over it. It was a long time ago. It happened. No. I didn't really care. I was having such a good time. And it was the first time Boone and me were regulars on a TV show, because we didn't look for that in our careers. So I was just kind of happy going to work every week. There's no way I thought I'd be alive at the end, that's for sure. But
Thank you. Great questions, everybody. I hate to say it, but we're going to end the panel. This has been an amazing one. I so enjoyed it. Any final words for your fans here in Belfast?
Come on, Boone.
You've got the floor.
I say this all the time, but what's so amazing about these things is, selfishly, I get to hang with him. I mean, we don't get to see enough of each other now. We're all so busy. We're all so working on shit. So I want to thank you for coming so I could hang with Boone and see all of you. And honestly, we just have such a good time in these things that we don't do a lot, me and Boone, these Comic-Cons. But the few that we do, the people have been amazing. You guys have been amazing.
You guys have been really sweet.
Keep that love going. Keep the applause going for your cast of Sons of Anarchy. Kim and Mark, thank you for being here. The brotherhood is going strong. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget to collect your last autographs. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Collect your last autographs and photos. You are so great. Thank you so much. Give it up one more time for Kim and Mark, Sons of Anarchy.